Let me start with a number that instantaneously changes how people feel. 1 crore. The moment you hear it, something happens. Some people feel motivated, some feel pressured, some quietly think, if I don't reach this, have I failed? But let me ask you a calmer question. How many people do you personally know who earn 1 crore as salary, not business income, not exit money, not one time stock gains? Very few. So the real question is not does 1 crore salary exist? Because it does exist. The real question is who earns it? How do they earn it? And why most people never will, even if they work very hard. In this video, we'll break this down. We look at what the data actually says, which roles truly pay at this level, the difference between entrepreneurs and employees, and how Career Earth evaluates this question using the ceiling framework. So let us start with the data. This data has been collected from various sources which are publicly available and have been tested for consistency. What we have found is that a very small portion of people actually earn more than 1 crore. To be precise, less than 0.1% of working professionals in India earn more than 1 crore or more as annual compensation. These roles are heavily concentrated in global companies, leadership positions, revenue or decision critical functions. Even at the top MBAs, 1 crore packages are very, very rare. They often include both variable pay and stock compensation. And they are not representative of typical outcomes. So, yes, 1 crore salaries exist, but they sit at the extreme top of the distribution. That's why Career Earth treats this as a ceiling question, not a goal setting one. At Career Earth, we explain career ceilings using a simple lens called ceiling. Ceiling isn't about ambition. It's about understanding how high a role can realistically take you. C stands for the criticality of role. Ask yourself, if this role disappears tomorrow, does the business feel the pain? The more critical your role is, the higher is your natural ceiling. Then we have economic impact. Some roles look very impressive, especially on paper, but don't really move money. Ceilings rise sharply when your work directly affects revenue, cost, or profit. Then we look at irreplaceability. If you are easy to replace, your ceiling is capped early. If replacing you is expensive or risky, your leverage goes up dramatically. Then we have the level of responsibility. Not workload necessarily, but responsibility. The ceiling rises when decisions, outcomes, and accountability sit with you. International exposure plays an important role. Careers with global context scale faster than purely local ones. International exposure stretches your ceiling beyond the geography. Then we see the number of roles which are available. If only a handful of people can hold that role which pays more than 1 crore, ceilings are high but competitive. People are competing for that role. If thousands can do it, then ceilings will flatten quickly. Then we have growth leverage. Does one unit of your effort create multiple units of impact? High leverage roles compound growth. Strong professionals don't chase titles. They understand ceilings and choose roles that raise them. Keep raising the ceiling up. 1 crore salaries appear only when multiple ceiling factors are aligned. And that is very important for you to understand. So, what type of roles pay such kind of money? CEO, CFO, CTO, CIO, senior investment banker, private equity, hedge funds, global consulting leadership, senior product or engineering leadership in global technology companies, revenue owners at scale, for example, the sales head of a large company, regional heads. You'll notice something very interesting in all these roles. These roles control large decisions. They manage risk and scale. They influence the revenue and the profitability of the company. Roles that usually do not, even with excellence, and will not be able to reach the 1 crore packages are mid-level management, individual contributors without scale, operations heavy roles, support functions. Are you in any of these roles? Are you also kind of scapped your growth path? Think about it. Effort is not the differentiator, economic leverage is. Which brings us to the critical distinction. This is where most people online confuse. When people say people earn 1 crore in India, they often mix two very different categories. There is this entrepreneurship category. Income comes from business profit, exits, dividends, equity appreciation. Income is very volatile. Some years it's good, some years it's not very good. Then there are the working professionals. Income is paid by an employer, linked to a role, scale, and responsibility of the person in the company. It is bounded by organizational economics. Many entrepreneurs never earn more than 1 crore salary. Many employees earn high salaries but never build wealth. Salary and wealth are related but not identical, and that is the confusion I was alluding to. At Career Earth, we treat them as separate questions. So 1 crore packages are rare, but you also have to look at whether it is only cash or there are other components in that 1 crore package, which includes performance bonus, long-term incentives, stocks, and not all of it is guaranteed. So always ask, how much is the fixed component that you're going to get? How much is the variable component that you may or may not get? How much depends on future outcomes? Headline numbers tend to hide this risk. People only talk about the 1 crore package. It's very important to look at some examples of people whom we have advised recently at Career Earth. And this person is about 32 years old. He is into product management, works for a global tech company, and is on a leadership track. Eventually, he'll become a CXO, I guess. And the question is, can I reach the 1 crore mark? So we applied the ceilings lens to this, the same lens I'm talking to you about. Criticality is very high, obviously. Economic impact is direct. Irreplaceability is growing because he's developing depth, so it's going to be hard to replace him with somebody else in the organization. International exposure is good. Number of roles, very few, but possible that he will get a role that will pay him the 1 crore package. So structurally, it is possible that he'll get there, but only if you move into scale and ownership, not just execution. This is a long, narrow path, not a generic one. In another case, this person was in operations, wanted a 1 crore salary because he was feeling left behind. His friends were getting that perhaps, or somebody he knew was getting the 1 crore salary. So we applied the ceiling framework. The criticality of the role was moderate. Economic leverage was very low. And the role ceiling was visible. How much with operations can you grow? So Career Earth advice was, this is the wrong target. Instead, we reframe. build expertise, build the assets and the skills, or explore entrepreneurship opportunities. Not every career is meant to cross the same ceiling. Let me leave you with this thought. 1 crore salary is not a universal milestone. It's a structural outcome for a small set of roles. Chasing it blindly creates pressure. Why are you chasing it? Understanding ceilings creates clarity. What's your growth looking like? How can you reach there? At Career Earth, we don't ask, how do I reach 1 crore? We ask, what ceiling does my role realistically have? And how do I build wealth, impact, and meaning within or beyond it? That question frees you from comparison and puts you back in control. Clarity before aspiration, structure before status. That's important. So don't set your goal as 1 crore. Ask yourself whether you have got the right trajectory and the right path. Identify where the ceilings are. Either you break the ceiling or you push it higher and above you. Only then can you move ahead. And that is how you get the 1 crore role. But it requires planning and execution. A lot of people are in the execution role. They got to take ownership and be able to scale. If you are not going to take ownership and scale, nobody is going to have the trust and the confidence to give you a senior role, in which case you are not getting the 1 crore plus salary. And do not mix up entrepreneurship with regular day-to-day working professional, because the metrics of success are completely different there. Entrepreneurs may or may not get the 1 crore. Working professionals always struggle to get to that 1 crore point. The other important thing is building wealth and having a salary are two different things again. If you are going to look at using your salary to build wealth, you can do that, but it might be a very slow process. What you need to do is you need to keep changing the ceiling so that you keep getting a higher salary, and eventually you put that salary in financial instruments or in other ways of investments which can compound your growth. क्लैरिटी होगा तो ग्रोथ होगा तो करियर होगा. ये हमारा आपसे वादा है. I look forward to seeing you at Career Earth.